Hello, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday, aka Rose Day. I hope everyone's doing alright this time zone. Oh hell yeah, Stassi made it home. I hope everything went okay for you. And lovely to see Owl is ready for some toxic Yuri. Oh. I was like, I should change out the screenshot on the thumbnail. And I think I ended up picking the one on the itch.io page for the route we're doing, so that should be fun. guess it's a little early spoiler. Oh, I will say, I am also kind of glad. I am sorry, Al. I know I did originally promise Spooky's House of Jump Scares for the last spooky week, but I had a blood test today, and my arms are more sore than normal. So maybe next year. I'm sorry, Al. I know you wanted me to do spooky. But yeah, I hope people are making the most of the spooky season. I've been reading a really fun horror book called My Heart is a Chainsaw. That's been interesting. I've been binging Dragula. That's the second season of Titans, and oh my god, it was the most crazy episode this week. So that's been fun. And then what else do we have? I'm sure I'll find some mildly spooky films to put on. Our Halloween's going to be a little bit different, so we will see. Al, it's okay, your health comes first. Thank you, Al. And is that Chainsaw Man? You know what? I think everything could be improved with Chainsaw Man. Behind Chainsaw is very good though. I think there's 3 books, so I'm hoping it'll I'll be ooh, I like where it ends off. I want to pick up the next one. So, but yeah, making the most of the spooky season. I know it's a dumb question now, but did you see the Chainsaw Man film? I thought the Chainsaw Man film was very good. Even if I do have some feelings on it, but I thought it was very, very good. So I do recommend people, if they haven't watched the first season to watch the film, do that. It's great. Sass, I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it too. Reze Arc is a really good portion of the manga anyway. It's really hard to mess up Reze Arc. But it's also really fun because it's we're at the point now where a lot of the content in the first season is a lot of build up and world building, and it just kind of keeps going crazier. So Stas, I love Denji. He does. Well, I think the thoughts in his head are, oh no, I like 2 girls. So I'm actually up to date with the manga. I can confirm Denji still has limited thoughts in his head. But we love him. We love our Denji. So, but yeah, looking forward to more season. Hopefully, they must do a season 2. They've got to at least finish off part 1. I'd be very surprised if they don't finish off part 1. But yeah, love Fujimoto stuff. But tell you what, let's get us. Oh, Al, I'm sorry, Penguin. I wouldn't call it a Penguin arc, but the part with the penguin is in part 2. I would be surprised if they don't adapt part 2 because of how popular Chainsaw Man is. But I don't think it's as guaranteed. I'm so sorry. It would be very cool. That would be the best episode. Those panels. There's a penguin. You know what? Actually, you're right. There is a penguin and there is an arc. It's a damn cute penguin. I will say that. Makes me wonder if there's like a penguin devil. There must be a penguin devil. Like there's been some weird ass devils. There must be a penguin devil. But now part two's been great. Does someone fear penguins? Someone must do. I mean, I fear peacocks. I have an irrational fear of peacocks. I'd have a peacock devil in my version of Chainsaw Man. Stas, fish do. Yeah, there you go. It'll be a penguin devil for the poor little fishies. Honestly, I kind of want to see his version of a penguin devil. Actually, have you guys seen Fujimoto's design of Captain America? It's like fucking banging. Tell us about your peacock fear. Oh god. So okay. First off, I'm gonna get this picture of Fujimoto's. Yes, it is that one. Now let me grab it up. Problem loading page. You can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. There we go. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, we're going to studio. Here we go. It's this. This is Fujimoto's design for Captain America. It's very cool. But yes, sorry, my penguin. I don't have a penguin fear. My peacock fear. So when I was little, I went on like a kind of almost like a cabin holiday, almost not. It was like kind of like a almost like a national forest kind of thing, and I remember and they had peacocks like on the site, and it must have been about 4 or 5, and I remember getting chased relentlessly by one and being absolutely terrified. And ever since then, I just have an irrational fear of peacocks. Yeah, peacocks and Newfoundland dogs. they're my phobias. Yeah. I will say, Stas, I'm so glad you moved away from standardized peacock tails for your closed species. I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, please don't, please don't, please don't. I'm like, I understand, like, peacock tails are very pretty, but I'm like, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't. Oh, that's a good point as well, Stas. Yeah, they would be a complete pain to draw each time. I'm so glad you went for like the unicorn-esque tails. Definitely a lot better work on you and on my psyche. So thank you for that. I am going to get us set up on the game and quickly mute so I can cough. Hello. Yes, no psychic damage for me. Oh. I remember a long time ago, I can't remember who, but like they had like a close species and they had like kind of like animal stuff. And I remember seeing like one of their designs, like, oh, that's great. And I just saw it was like peacock and I was just like, no. No. Oh, and it is funny. It is funny what it takes. Just one bad experience, and you're like, I wish for the chainsaw man to eat a peacock, the peacock devil. Please and thank you. No more peacocks in the world. Oh. So, let me click in. You're working. Let's load from where we were. So we are going to set off to the castle. And, Al, I did see your... Is it reskeet? Whatever the blue sky thing is. Do need to put the obvious trigger warning for, for ripped skirts. It is a very sort of scary proposition which might come up. But while I'm here, I am also going to cover the general trigger warnings again. These are also in the description of the video. Essentially, this VN does not contain any explicit textual or graphical depictions of blood or gore. It does, however, mention these topics: drowning, being buried alive, cannibalism, bullying, veiled mentions of homophobia. So, if that might cause any issues for people, you have been warned. But the first route didn't seem too bad, so I think we'll be alright. So you want to go to the castle? Good idea. All decent fairy tales tend to conclude in castles once they're beleaguered. Put upon heroines are finally able to wed the handsome princes they once dreamed of. Why bother trying your luck with the shore, which may very well be deserted, or the village, which will be filled with dirty, barefoot peasants? What does what does the narrator have against peasants? And he didn't need to bring up their feet. You didn't need to bring up their feet, dog. Oh, only peasant feet. Stas, this narrator would hate. Yeah, they totally would hate hobbits. How dare they? It is far better to skip the suffering and go straight to the grand finale. That is very astute of you. I did not realize you had it to be so mercenary. Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, classist and a perfect? Nah, classist and a pervert. Okay, that makes that makes more sense. I can only wonder what you will uncover during your moonlight meanderings. The night is far from over, and your adventures are only just beginning. I hope only that you have brushed up on your curtsies. They might come in handy when one is interacting with a sovereign. Royals can be temperamental, after all. If you fail to treat them with the prerequisite amount of respect, you might come to regret it. You follow the path which leads to the castle, supporting yourself on weary, aching legs which feel ready at a moment's notice to detach from your hips. You are little more than a wisp of a girl, but you've been running for so very long, and your feet are so very numb. You feel like a great lumbering thing, clumsy and ungainly. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. Ow. Don't, honestly, it's chill. Don't worry. My spelling's atrocious as well. It was just taking me a little bit longer to comprehend what it could mean. So don't worry, okay? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all Gucci. And you are not dumb as fuck, Al. You are not dumb as fuck. You have plenty of people who tell you otherwise. You need to lie down, and quickly. Your only hope as you continue to run that you will find a spare room available for you in the castle. You do not know what exactly will await you at the castle, but you have visions as you run on a vast, opulent dwelling. Stas, I don't even bother to correct my spelling mistakes. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. You get there in the end. Oh god, it was so funny. The other week I was helping our mutual friend with some world building stuff, and I was trying to I tried to type soul interference, but because I was on my phone, for some reason it decided to auto correct it to soup interference, and it's just like, yes. I'm going to like cause you immense suffering by offering you soup. And soup interference. And I think it's because I was watching a lot of VODs of this Chinese FMV game called Road to Empress, where like there's a lot of like dead ends where you die. For most of them, when you die, they basically force feed you poison soup. It's so funny, and I think just my phone was like, you just got Road to Empress on the brain. It's definitely soup interference. I realized after, I was like, oh no, it's like, oh, you know, this character's like on the edge of like these bonding ceremonies of poison soup on the side, hoping for dumb little seekers to eat it. Oh, so yeah, sometimes it's fine to leave them uncorrected, but yeah. This dwelling will surely be full of finely furnished rooms in which you might rest your weary head. There must also be a king and a queen inside this castle, you ponder, who will be kind and wise. And what of their children? What of a princess? Every good castle must possess a princess who will take pity on you and your plight. You can imagine the face of this generous princess of ease, thanks to the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. The princess will be of fair hair and blue of eye, with soft pink lips pursed like rosebuds. Her limbs will be slender, her hands dainty and unsullied from physical labour, and her sensibilities will be sweeter than marzipan. She will be kind to you and compassionate, just like an older sister. You do not know what older sisters are like, though, or younger sisters for that matter. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Monarchs do not, as you know from vicarious reading, have the best track record when it comes to caring for the peasantry. Was there not a very famous queen who once said, with a cavalier wave of her hand, that the hungry peasants in her kingdom should content themselves with cake if bread was not an option? You think that this might be a misquote, but the point still stands. Though royals are supposed to grant their subjects succour in their time of need, this does not always happen. In fact, it very rarely happens. Kings and queens and princesses and princes are just people at the end of the day, and they are subject to the same caprices that all humans are. They can also be careless and selfish and inconsiderate. There is no guarantee that this mythical princess of your imagination will help you. Why? There is no guarantee that this mythical princess exists at all. Still, you must try. It is this hope which keeps you going. You continue to run to the castle. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all meaning? The forest is behind you now at least, and all that awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It's still cold though, and foggy, and very, very dark. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now though, as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the castle, which looms in front of you like a cliffside. Ooh, fancy music. The stone edifice of the building is imposing, and it drowns you in shadows darker than the depths of the deepest ocean. This castle is not all dark, though, not like the night sky above it. When you crane your head, you can see that there are lights flickering within, in the narrow slitted windows. It would appear that somebody is home. The king and the queen, perhaps. What of their servants? What, perhaps more pressingly, of their guards? You half expect, as you stand there, that armoured knights will accost you for daring to approach the castle of king and queen so-and-so. Do you not know your place, foolish peasant girl, with the dirty skirt? Oh, the skirt mentioned. I'm sorry, it's ripped and dirty. How dare I? Oh, no. Begone with you. Exactly, guards. You do not let a girl with a messed ass skirt. You don't. You are not, of course, a peasant. Your family is a wealthy one. Or rather, they were, before your father made a series of poor financial decisions. You do not look like a young lady right now, though. With your dirty face and your dirty skirt, which is torn at the hell. No! Exactly, Alan Stas. Just triggering so much. No! If any guards were to take you for a vagrant, it would not be surprising. But though you stand there divering, your filthy fingers hooked in front of your filthy skirt, oh, so much talk of my skirt, you do not hear any cries. Nobody sounds the alarm. Lights may be on inside the castle, but there's nobody outside of its perimeter standing sentry. There is nobody to impede your entry, and the elaborate iron gates which are set into the vast stone walls about the castle's exterior are open. Just a crack. It would be a trivial matter to slip inside. There is nobody to stop you. Why are you trembling now, you silly thing? You have come so very far. It would be an act of foolishness to turn around now. Go on, go! You inhale, perhaps an attempt to screw up your courage, which has, at long last, begun to fail you. And then you step forward. You slide between the wrought iron gates as stealthy and as secretive as a thief, then cross the path which leads up to the tall, imposing structure. The domed doorway which leads into the castle itself, hewn from stone, is closed, but at a push of your palm, it swings inwards. The door creaks alarmingly as it opens, the sound loud enough to split the silence like a thunderclap. You inhale at this and glance around, your eyes darting hither and thither. If there are any guards posted about this castle grounds, they should have all been alerted by the sound. Will they come for you at long last? What will happen should they catch you? Will they throw you in the dungeons? That does not sound like a pleasant way to spend a night. At least you would have a roof over your head, though, and you would not have to keep walking. Your feet really do ache. You stand there for an indeterminate amount of time, your heart pounding a panicked, irregular rhythm in the base of your throat. But no matter how much time elapses, no guards come. You are thankful for your good luck, though it does make you wonder. Where is everyone? Why is it almost as if all the people in the world have disappeared? Could you be the very last human left alive? You frown, then press your palm back against the door. You push less cautiously this time, heedless of the loud sound which splits the silence. There is no point in worrying about the guards, not when they might very well be non-existent. Out watching Tron. You know what? Sure. I want to believe that this fantasy realm somehow has the film Tron. I'm going to believe that in my heart of hearts, that they're all watching the film Tron. Your entry to the castle secured. You then take a step forward. The door swings shut behind you, and the resultant slam makes you jump. You did not expect it. Your heart knocks against your ribs, and with wild eyes you glance about. Oh geez, Al, that's a worrying filmography. That's a worrying filmography to have. There's like 1 or 2 good films, If that. It's Fight Club. Was he in Requiem for a Dream as well? Might have been in Requiem for a Dream? I don't know. But nah. That's a worrying filmography. He was! Oh, I remembered something. The three things I remember from Requiem from a Dream is Jared Leto is potentially in it. There's a bunch of scenes which the guy stole from Perfect Blue and Paprika, and like the guy yelling ass to ass. That's like the three things. Your heart knocks against your ribs, and with wild eyes you glance about. You are standing in a vast entrance hall made of stone which splits off into any number of passages. At the very end of the hall, meanwhile, there is a large, elaborate staircase, one which seems to extend to the heavens themselves. It is dark inside the hall, but there are numerous torches set in sconces in the stone wall which are aflame. They offer some relief from the shadows. Oh yeah, that's the plot. Don't worry about watching again. Yeah, no, like, Requiem for a Dream is one of those films which I appreciated watching it, but I don't ever want to watch it again. It's a bit too miserable. Sometimes I'm in the mood for miserable, but it's like not that often. Yeah. You can hear the faint sound of the wind outdoors as it moans against the castle's impervious walls, but you cannot hear any footsteps. You cannot hear any voices. You cannot, more importantly, hear any people. Maybe the castle is empty. If that is the case, though, then who lit these torches? It is a curious conundrum. You muster up what remains of your courage, then cry out, addressing the empty hall in timorous voice, which fails to properly fill up the space. Hello, you say, your eyes wide. Is anybody there? Your voice echoes through the vast empty hall, but is met, yet again, with silence. You cannot say you are too surprised, but it is somewhat disappointing. Not one to be deterred, you try again and again, your voice growing louder with each subsequent attempt. No matter how loud your voice, however, it fails to reach any ears. If anybody is here, they do not seem to be particularly sociable. That, or perhaps they simply cannot hear you. Could they be in another room? Yes, that must be it. You will never find that pretty fairy tale princess of your imagination if you stand idle, you know? It is time to get to work. Put those legs of yours to good use. Not knowing what else to do, is there anything else you can do? You begin to explore. You examine the rooms first on the ground floor of the castle, which are of similar scale to the impressive entrance hall, large and richly furnished, but utterly unoccupied. After some time of aimless meandering, encountering nobody save the ghosts of aeons past memorialized on portraits upon the walls, you muster the courage to ascend to the second floor. This floor, too, you examine, wandering through a seemingly endless series of hallways until, at long last, you find a door which is ajar. From between the cracks in the doors and the jamb, you can see flickering light. Irregular, yes, but it is light nonetheless. Could it be from a fireplace? That would suggest, then, that this room is occupied, unlike the others. Perhaps this kindly princess you dreamed of will be awaiting you in this room. It is with trembling hands that you press your palm against the door. You push it. Then you step inside the bedchamber, which unveils itself to you. Shyly, you stand in the threshold of the chamber, much of your courage extinguished, and gasp. The bedroom itself is gorgeous! It is a chamber so luxuriant, not even the shadows can obscure the fine craft of the furniture within it, nor the rich patterns on the walls. It is the girl inhabiting the chamber, however, who truly takes your breath away. Oh, hello there! Sitting upon the velveteen sheets of the towering four-poster is a girl in a sumptuous red gown, who seems to be of an age to you. You do not have a clear view of the girl's face. Her head is bowed, her gaze directed downwards at her lap. You can tell from her hair, however, and from her slender calves, which protrude from beneath the hem of her dress, that she is very pretty. I get she's pretty because she has nice hair. I don't know, it's like, oh, she's pretty because she has slender calves. I like my women with slender calves, guys. Oh. Calves are like the lower leg? Right? Lower leg? Ah, what the fuck is this, Yuri? Stas, you can tell she's pretty because of those calves. Oh, pretty much. Oh. The girl's hair is golden, just like freshly cut wheat, but it is the red of her dress that which truly captures your attention. She is so striking you cannot look away from her. Oh god! Dull jump scare. The girl is not alone in her chamber either. She has a companion through this, though this companion is not half so endearing as she... In her lap, perched upon her velvet skirt, is a doll. The doll's hair, like that of her mistress's, is golden, though much of it is hidden beneath a bonnet. The girl is adjusting the china teacup held in the doll's tiny hands, while the rim of the cup glints in the light which exudes from the fireplace. If the girl is of similar age to you, it seems strange that she would content herself with playing with dolls. Is she not too old for it? This girl would be more at home, you decide, at a ball, wearing an extravagant gown, speaking with wealthy noblemen, perhaps even princes. She should not be sitting in what you presume is her bedchamber, adjusting a teacup in a doll's hand. You can't judge people, Miss Ripped Skirt! Oh. But you're not afforded much more time to stand there, marvelling at the girl, because she turns. She raises her head, then her eyes meet yours. You thought the girl pretty when you first observed her, sitting on the edge of her plush velveteen bed, examining her doll. Now she's looking at you, however, her face illuminated by the flames in their grate. You can see that you were mistaken. She is not just pretty. She is beautiful. So much so, it's breathtaking. She looks as though she's just stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She's simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. The doll on her lap is a cold, hard thing made of porcelain, and it is unflinchingly, reassuringly real. If she were a mirage, surely she would not be able to handle physical objects such as this. Oh, just got the chance to see the ankles, I'm guessing. Oh. First he has lesbians. Lesbians will do anything for ankles and calves, guys. Just saying. It is strange, though. The doll, though, immaculately made, looks oddly imperfect when compared to the girl who is holding it. She is so startlingly beautiful. She even puts man-made representation of feminine charms to shame. The sight of her makes you feel rather weak. You always have had a fondness for fair maidens, haven't you? You are rather hopeless when it comes to them, even worse than a knight-errant from a courtly legend. Your aesthetic appreciation is not particularly ladylike, but, well, it is not every day a girl encounters an elegant beauty like this, attired in red, illuminated by the firelight. I suppose I can forgive you for this rudeness, as too can the girl. She does not seem to be the type to hold a grudge. Oh, the girl says, in a voice that seems, surprisingly enough, far less refined than her appearance. It is good to see you. I have been waiting. Has she? That is news to you. You blink, perplexed, a response on the tip of your tongue, but you are unable to expel it into the ether. The girl is setting her doll aside. Then she stands, the hem of her dress swishing about her legs. Nimbly, like a ballerina, she canvasses the space between you. Her room is so very large, there is quite a lot of space. Then takes your hands into her own. Stash, red flag number 1. I think her dress is red flag number 1 for being red. But the "I've been expecting you" is absolutely another red flag. You must, the girl says, her eyes aglow with excitement, be my new lady's maid. It's been a while, but it's such a relief that you finally arrived. I knew that you would. You'd never leave me alone, not when you knew how long I was waiting. Oh, I am so happy. The girl's good mood is contagious, so much so that you find yourself being swept away in it. You are tempted to accept any identity she might press upon you. Ow, showing calf is red flag number 0. Oh. You have never been a maid before, but you might not mind being this girl's maid. Oh yeah, I don't mind being filthy for this princess, eh? She does not seem like a poor mistress to serve, not if she is always this kind. You cannot mask the confusion, however, which flickers across your face. You are not a good enough actress, and in any case, this is all happening too quickly. Why, you barely know this girl. Why is she being so very familiar? It is with blank bovine eyes that you examine the girl. Your befuddlement is pronounced enough that even the girl, despite her good mood, notices it. She frowns. Then she says, her fingers sliding away from your own. Or am I mistaken? Are you not my new lady's maid after all? The disappointment in the girl's face is abundant, so much so your heart clenches. You do not know her, she is still a stranger, but you are struck, all of a sudden, with the intense desire to appease her. You do not want to let her down. The thought is devastating. You are not aware, you tell her, that you had applied to be a maid, but if that is what she wills, you would not be opposed to it. You pray that she forgives you, though, for your discombobulation. You come from a distant country, and you have travelled for many miles. You know not where you are, and you do not know who she is. What? You do not know who I am? It is regrettable, you tell her, but no, you do not know her, though that is no fault of her own. Why, you have spent such a long time running. You hardly even know yourself. Ah, so you are a fugitive then? From another country, I see. I won't pry into your past then, if you'd rather forget about it. I don't mind sharing my past with you, though. Everybody in this country knows who I am, after all. Or at least, they should. Now that is quite the impressive boast. If it were to come off from the lips of another, you would find it unpleasantly arrogant. You do not think, however, that this girl is trying to show off. You get the feeling, instead, that she is merely telling the truth. If you don't have the pleasure of knowing me, then allow me to do the honours. My father and my mother were the king and queen of this realm, and I am its princess. I've lived in this castle all my life, so I don't know much about the outside world, but I know that other countries do exist out there. I presume it is from one of these foreign countries that you come from? It is very good to meet you. I've always wanted to talk to someone from overseas. It feels like quite the opportunity, hee hee. The girl giggles at this, and you smile in response. You tell her, unthinkingly, that it is your pleasure, really, to meet her, or at least you mean to. You only get halfway through this remark when the full gravity of what the girl has told you sinks in. You come to a stop. Then you stare. Did she just say she was a princess? Yeah, she did. Boo, boo, boo. Yes, that's right. I am a princess. And one day I'll be a queen after I've done a little bit more growing up. My ministers don't think I'm ready to run the country just yet, but I've been doing my best at my lessons. One day, I'm sure I'll be the best queen there ever was. So she really is a princess. That makes sense, you suppose, given she lives in a castle, but it comes as a surprise regardless. You hadn't known before you entered this chamber that you were trespassing on a lady of such great renown. Why, if she'd willed it, she could have you executed for your carelessness. An ugly red flush creeps up your face, a flush which is far more lurid than the princess's dress as you look to your feet. Bashfully, you stammer out a new address, that you are very sorry for intruding upon her and that you hope she can forgive you. Oh, it's all right. Think nothing of it. I don't mind, really. We all make mistakes. And anyway, you weren't to know. You said you weren't from around here. You nod your head in silent affirmation. It isn't a complete lie. You really are not from this country. You are not from this world, after all. Oh, lady, all women are queens. You wouldn't know because toxic Yuri. Oh. How wonderful. I'll look forward to picking your brain later. All of my servants come from nearby village. Their tales are all the same, and so are their superstitions. I could do with a breath of fresh air. My last lady's maid told me I was too impetuous, but I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a bit of adventure. Not that I've ever been afforded much of that. I've been shut up in here for so long. I hardly ever get the chance to talk to other girls my age. Stas, yep, another red flag. Picking your brain. Don't like where that's going. My last lady's maid was older than me, and so was the one before her, and the one before her. Some of the princess's fair mood seems to dissipate as she speaks, her expression turning, by degrees, into something rather more pensive. But I haven't seen any of my old lady maids in a while, or any of the other servants for that matter. They've all disappeared. Now that is quite curious. How could a whole household full of servants simply disappear? That I don't know. This castle was full of servants once. My lady's maids, and my undermaids, and my scullery maids, and my housekeeper, and my cooks, and my large retinue of retainers. They're all gone now, though. I think my ministers must have sent them away. I don't know why they would have done that, though. They didn't explain that to me. But then again, they never explain anything to me. They still treat me like a little girl. It is so tiring. She said that her ministers sent her servants away. What of her parents, the king and the queen? Would they not be the ultimate authority in the castle's hierarchy? They would, yes, if they were still alive, but they're not. They died a long time ago. I was raised most of my life by my servants. Oh, you answer, and then you flush. You hadn't known. It's all right. You don't need to apologise. I'm just happy that I have you now. I was getting sick and tired of only having my dolls to speak to. They aren't the best conversational partners. You can imagine so, yes. You doubt any doll, even one made by a talented artisan, with an intelligent face indistinguishable from a human's, would be very good at answering back. Oh no, they aren't. They're hopeless at it, really. They're so stonily linked. You have no idea how much of a relief it is to see you. This castle is so big, and without my servants it feels so empty. It gets so lonely here. They said the name of the game! Boo, 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 boo! Now, that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? You do not have much time to ponder this, however, because the princess is speaking anew in that curiously conversational manner of hers, which does not seem particularly princessy. Maybe she learnt how to speak from her servants. That would explain why her consonants are so unrefined. Oh, but listen to me yammering on again. It's a bad habit. I really must put a stop to it. You're probably tired, dear one, from your travels. Would you like me to show you to your room? Yes, the princess announces. Before you say anything, I think I'll just do that. I might show you a bit around the castle first, though. It's like a maze in here, and I wouldn't want you getting lost. You'll be staying here for quite some time, after all. The princess then hastens to take you to a tour of her home. Fortunately, she does not show all of the rooms in her abode, and neither does she offer overly long descriptions as to what the few rooms she does show are used for. She does, however, pause by the kitchens, where she offers you some victuals. Once the growling in your belly has been satisfied, the princess then resumes her journey. She leads you down a dark, twisting hallway and up a series of equally dark, twisting steps until she arrives, at long last, before a door. The princess pushes the door aside summarily, thus permitting your entrance to a small, humble bedchamber. This chamber is not half so opulent as the grand bedroom in which the princess resides, with its resplendent four-poster and its richly patterned wall. This room's ceiling is not as high, and the singular bed shoved against the wall is thin and narrow. The walls are an unassuming beige, and the floor beneath your soles is of a warped wood. There is a Muladora scent too, which hangs in the air, one of disuse and general decay. You get the feeling that nobody has slept in this room for quite some time. That might explain why it feels so very cold in here. Though, if the princess's tour of the castle has taught you anything, it is that it is the cold in every room is her abode. Now, here we are, the final stop of our tour. This will be your room, dear one. I hope it's to your liking. The princess, despite her exalted status, looks somewhat uneasy as she observes you, her eyes upturned like those of a loyal dog. Is she concerned about your reaction to this room? Perhaps she's afraid that you'll turn your nose up at the kindness. For a princess, she is awfully eager to please. This unexpected contrast between the princess's lofty title and her ingratiating attitude makes you smile. The room is rather scanty, yes, when it comes to its contents, but it is more than passable. It has a roof and four walls, and though it's cold, you fancy you will feel warmer once you've slipped beneath the bed sheets. The room is not quite so fancy as your dormitory at the conservatoire, and neither is it so large, but does have one glaring improvement over your previous lodgings. You will not be expected to share it with anybody else. There is only one bed in this room, and this bed, it belongs to you. You think that the peace and quiet will do you a world of good. You tell the princess as much, and she smiles. That's good. I was worried you wouldn't like it. Hee hee. I know it isn't much to look at, but it's one of the nicest servant rooms we have in the castle. Most of the maids sleep beneath the roof in this teeny tiny room where it's all cramped. There's 10 beds up there and they're so close together, there's barely any room to pass in between. I thought it was perfectly ghastly when I saw it the last time I went up there. Not that I was supposed to be up there. It was a rainy day and I couldn't go outdoors, so I was doing a bit of exploring. If the housekeeper had known I'd be skulking around, I don't think she would have been best pleased. Well, in any case, nobody sleeps up there anymore. The scullery maids are all gone now. I couldn't put you up there, though, in the attic with all those empty beds. I didn't think it would be very cheery. You're not just the scullery maid, you're my lady's maid. That means you deserve good lodgings. It would be an insult to offer you any less than that. Now, it's getting late. You'll have to forgive me for rabbiting on. I've heard it's something I tend to do. It's a bad habit, one that's unbecoming for a lady. The housekeeper's warmed me enough times, though. You reassure the princess to the contrary, smiling as you do so. Hello, Ichika, you know? Lovely to meet you too. Oh, you're a JP VTuber. Cool. I'm based in EN. I'm English, but it's so lovely to see you. We're currently doing a visual novel called It Gets So Lonely Here. It's a little bit spooky, perfect for the season. No matter how long you're here, I hope you have a lovely time and you enjoy yourself. You do not mind if she talks too much. This is better than not talking at all. Her affable nature makes it easier to spend time with her. Manners be damned. You were always scolded to back in the conservatoire for your behaviour. You know full well how aggravating it can be to be upbraided, not for any particular misdemeanour, but for being yourself. Well, I'm glad you understand, the princess answers with a giggle. I really should be off, though. It's bad manners to keep you, especially when you look so sleepy. Get some rest. We can talk tomorrow if you don't mind my ceaseless prattle. I'm glad you seem to appreciate it, at least. Though, I'm sure you'll get tired of it eventually. All of my old maids did, hee. The princess departs, and in her absence you take a seat upon the bed, your new bed. You cannot help but think that this is all happening very quickly. It does not seem like very long ago that you were still in the forest, running for your life amongst the tall imposing trees with their gnarled, grasping branches. The forest might as well be a distant memory now, though. You are indoors, inside a castle no less, and you might have been given a room in which to sleep and clothes that you might wear. It seems premature still to declare that you are out of the woods, in a metaphorical sense I mean, but things could certainly be worse. You force yourself to stand on legs which feel too weary to support you and change into the night clothes hanging in the wardrobe. The night clothes do not fit you perfectly, but you are too tired to care about that. You are too tired to care about much of anything. You retreat to the bed and slide beneath its sheets. Then, you let your eyelids fall shut. You exhale. And lulled by the breeze which blows outdoors, you fall asleep. You are so very, very tired. Your sleep is a dark, dark one, darker even than the furthest abysses of the nighttime. Like the nighttime sky, however, which shimmers with stars, your sleep is not devoid of those prismatic fragments your humans call dreams. Though in this case, I rather think your nocturnal imagings are worth rather more than that. They are not dreams, are they, to which your slumbering mind is subjected? You know that they are not. Otherwise, your body would not be so very cold, not so clammy. The images that flicker beneath your closed eyelids, like the ghostly images in a... Ooh, this is a word I don't know. Phenakistoscope. Phenakistoscope. Oh, man, I'm not getting that. Were not conjured from within your mind. They were instead taken from your memories. You are not merely dreaming, you are remembering. You remember the girls who slept in your dormitory, and how they always hastened to use the shower first, so you were last for breakfast. You remember how, when you finally did arrive at the dining hall, the most desirable morsels had already been snaffled up by the girls who got there earlier. You struggled too, to find a seat once you finally did get your hands on some food, because nobody ever wanted to sit with you. It's clearly because they saw the state of your skirt, girl. I bet neither did the writer. Yeah. I was like, that is a very long word. Very, very long word. The other girls will act like you were a leper, save for when they wanted favours. They never asked for these favours, mind, for why would they? To them, your father's prestige did not matter. They were all wealthy ladies too. Many of them wealthier than you. When everybody has the airs and graces of a princess, how's anybody supposed to stand out? You stood out the least in your class, perhaps because you were one of the smallest, the frailest, the sickliest, who always came down with colds in the winter. Your poor health did not stop the other girls from treating you as a servant though, when they remembered that you existed, of course. It was your lot in life, as you dwelt within the stone walls of the conservatoire, to carry school bags across the field like a pack mule. Then, come the evenings, the girls in your dormitory had you sewing on the missing buttons and ironing out the creases and wrinkles in their uniforms. If there was an odd job that needed performing, you would always be asked. But these girls did not ask you. That would have been too civilized. They ordered you instead, and as they ordered you, they laughed at you. They laughed and they laughed and they laughed. Their laughter hurt, but it hurt considerably less than the kicks they did, and the slaps, and the pinches. Once, during an embroidery lesson, one of your classmates had an accident with her sewing scissors. She stumbled, or at least, she pretended to, and before you knew it, the silvery blades of those scissors were embedded in your left palm. This happened quite some time ago, when you were even littler than you are now, but you can still remember it. It hurt a lot. The scissors were sharp, and they perforated your skin, not all the way down to the bone, but enough to bleed. Your wound bled bright red like strawberry jam all over your embroidery. Then, when your professor saw it, she shrieked. Her face turned as pale as whey, and she looked for a few moments as though she might faint, though you were the one who was in pain. Your professor looked at your face. She could not bear to look at your hand, then demanded to know why you could not be more careful. Her tone had been an accusatory one, almost as if you had stabbed yourself in the hand with the scissors to goad her. The pain in your hand hurt, but the giggles of your persecutors hurt all the more. They never were punished for that. Perhaps your professor did not care to punish them. Perhaps she, like everybody else, thought it was all your fault. The wound, when all was said and done, was not too deep. You did not even need any stitches. It healed well enough on its own, though. It still left a scar, a white raised thing like a crescent moon. You still have that scar. You do not know how much blood you lost. It seemed like a lot back in the classroom. You could smell it in the air, sharp as iron, but it could not have been that much, evidently. Ow, I think the artist didn't get the memo for the scene. I think it's meant to be a dream, but I do like the idea that the artist just forgot. That would be very funny. Although, all the backgrounds so far I'm pretty sure have just been stock images with a filter. So, clearly the stock image website did not get the memo for the scene. Perhaps your classmates too would have felt some modicum of guilt over what they did. But this seems very unlikely. You know that your blood meant nothing to your classmates. Why should it? If you meant next to nothing, then the blood in your veins was, if such a thing was possible, even more inconsequential. You feel disoriented when you wake at long last with the rising of the sun. You do not remember what you dreamt, but you do not think that your dreams were of particularly pleasant nature. If they were, your heart would not be hammering so. Ill at ease, you glance around. You are lying in the narrow bed in an unremarkable room, one with dull beige walls and warped wooden floor. Where exactly are you? This does not look like your dormitory in the conservatoire, not unless it has shrunk threefold overnight. Your brow furrows as you attempt to recall the events of the night prior, until, with a gasp, it all clicks into place. You remember now. You were running through the woods trying to escape from... You shudder. You do not want to think of what it was you were trying to escape from. You presume that you must have given your hunter the slip, though, because you are still in one piece, awake and alert enough to face the dawning of a new morning. You still have all your limbs, and your facial features appear to be in the correct configuration. That is more than enough to be getting along with. You look to the foot of your bed, then blink, bemused at your discovery. You can see, lying upon the sheets, a garment, 2 garments actually, of black and white, folded into a neat white square. What could that be? A maid's outfit? If so, it would not be too surprising. You can now recall your visit with the princess the night prior, and her assertions that you must be her lady's maid. Well, if this is what the role she wants you to achieve, you have no qualms with it. It is a far preferable to the other role you played last night, that of a startled quarry running from its pursuer. You press your fingers against the humble maid's attire. It feels surprisingly soft to the touch, not coarse like you expected. These clothes are rather fine. Did the princess put them there? If so, then it is all the more reason to wear them. You are not churlish enough to deny her hospitality. You raise from your new bed, then undress yourself, unbuttoning the front of your plain white nightgown and setting it aside. This task accomplished, you then clad yourself in your new attire, black, white, and eminently sensible. You feel very far away from the girl that you once were. Your face might be the same as always, but something within you seems to have changed. You are no longer a student, not as long as you mean to reside within the princess's castle. You would far rather be a servant. Assured of your newfound identity, you retreat from your chamber, then make your way to your mistress's bedroom. The castle is a large one with many, many rooms and many, many hallways to connect them, and for a brief while you find yourself horrendously lost. You cannot remember where the princess's bedroom is. You are beginning to feel rather disorientated when, to your relief, your eyes snag upon a stairwell which looked rather familiar. Could this be the way? You ascend these steps, your footfalls cushioned by the plush carpet which lines them, then find your way down to the very same hall you traversed the night prior. If your memory does fail you, then the princess's bedroom ought to be... Yes, it is here. You rap upon the door but receive nothing in the way of a response. Is the princess still abed? You wonder, briefly, whether you ought to wait until she had risen of her own accord. But no, the sun is high in the sky, and it would be a shame to let the princess sleep through the day. You ought, instead, to rouse her. That seems like the sort of duty a lady's maid should attend to. You enter the princess's bedroom and glance about. Her room looks much the same as you remember it from the night prior, though the ceiling seems even higher when viewed in the wane morning's light. You can see, now that there are fewer shadows to impede your view, how very opulent your young mistress's abode is. Her armoire is large and imposing, as is the grate in which you will be expected to keep a fire lit during the night. The princess herself, meanwhile, is cuddled on her side beneath the sheets, looking rather less grandiose than her title would suggest. She is attired in a nightgown adorned with frills, and her hair is spilt across the pillow like spilled gold. In her slender arms, meanwhile, held to her chest, is a doll, the very same one she was cosseting last night. You suppose this doll must be her favourite. Idly, you wonder what the doll's name is, though you do not suppose it matters all that much. It is time to wake your mistress. You call out to the princess, but she is largely unresponsive. Her eyelashes are still sewn tightly shut, and her lips pursed in slumber. You purse your lips too and sigh. Well, nobody ever said your job would be easy. Once again, you call to the princess, and this time she replies. Her response is not a favourable one, however. She sighs, then turns away from you, her doll clutched to her chest. Just give me a little longer. The princess sounds so enfeebled, but you do not take pity on her. If you have learnt anything from the conservatoire, save for knowledge pertaining to the respiratory tracts of fish, it is that one must be cruel to be kind. You do not think this adage was practiced with any great success in the conservatoire, but perhaps it will have more of an impact upon the princess. You tell her, once again, to wake up, more sternly this time. You will not let her sleep, for she has slept long enough already. It is very slovenly, really, to still be abed to such an hour. Oh, defeated, the princess sighs. All right, I can see that I can't twist you around my little finger. I'm up, you don't need to nag me. Once you have roused the princess from her bed and you have put her doll to one side, you set upon her toilette. You aid the princess in the brushing of her hair, a chore to which she submits willingly, like a cat might allow its fur to be brushed. You allow yourself to ponder, as you run the bristles of the princess's brush through her hair, how wonderfully soft it feels against your skin. But a curious query from the princess, "Are you all right, dear one?" brings you back to your senses. You were rather lost in thought there. Look lively now. You wouldn't want the princess to catch wind of your salacious thoughts, would you? I thought that you'd learnt your lesson about that already. Suitably chastened, you finish with the princess's hair, then set the brush aside. Now that the princess's tresses have been taken care of, you must start on her attire. The princess remains seated upon the edge of her bed, looking up at you askance. She does not ask you to avert your eyes, and nor does she make any motion of divesting herself of her nightgown. It really does seem as though she expects you to undertake this task on your own. Is that all right? You ask the princess as much. You would not wish to impinge upon her modesty, but she only laughs. Yes, that's all right. It's what you're supposed to do if you're to be my lady's maid. I'm used to being dressed and undressed. I'm not a bit squeamish about it. She might not be squeamish about it, but you are. You have never seen a naked woman before. Man, words aren't working today. Except yourself. Even then, however, you've been dressed. I'm gonna take some water. Even then, however, you have always dressed and undressed furtively, not wanting to examine your body for longer than is strictly necessary. You have never much liked the way that you looked. You make a few more mumbled objections, but the princess sweeps them to one side easily. It's all right. I might be a princess, but we're both people underneath all of our clothes. I doubt we look much different. You are not sure about that? You have not yet seen the princess unadorned, but you already know, to look at her face, that you are different. Oh, thanks, Stas. I think it doesn't help, my throat's still a little bit sore. I'm trying my best. I just want to make sure you guys are entertained and everything. She is much, much prettier than you. But she is waiting, and you do not wish to keep her any longer. You steady your nerves. Then, you reach out with trembling hands, and you begin to undo the buttons which run down the front of the princess's nightgown. You work as quickly as you are able, which, given how badly your hands are shaking, is not very. You fumble with a couple of buttons, flinching as you do so. The princess, however, seems blissfully unaware of what it is exactly you are doing. Or not doing, for your fingers have begun to seize up with the front of her nightgown. She is not even looking at you. Instead, her gaze is directed beyond your shoulder to the windowsill and to the sky above. Oh, yeah, my dialogue would be, I don't understand these lesbians, I understand bloodborne lesbians. Bloodborne does have some great lesbians. I'll give them that. It isn't particularly sunny, but I don't think it's too cold outside. Going for a walk might not be a bad idea. What do you think, dear one? You think that you would like to finish undressing the princess as soon as possible so you can make some progress on dressing her again. The sight of all this exposed skin is bad for your heart. Fortunately, you are able to make quick work of the princess's nightgown, despite your initial mishaps, spurred on perhaps by your anxiety. You bid the princess to stand, which she does, and neatly, she steps out of her nightgown, her motions once again as graceful and as fluid as a dancer's. This task completed, you search hurriedly, worriedly for the princess's red dress. Where is it? You cannot find it. Sweat begins to prickle in the back of your neck. Your palms, meanwhile, feel uncomfortably clammy. The moments pass awkwardly, uneasily, as you search, the princess standing there, all the while as naked as the day she was born. Why did you not find her day dress before you stripped her of her night one? What a fool you are! You fool of a toque! Should have got your dress ready. The princess, noticing your panic, giggles and says, Are you looking for my dress? Yes, you reply, your face flushed. That is what you were doing. I thought so. I did wonder before you started undressing me why you'd not ask where it was. Maybe it slipped your mind? It has slipped your mind, yes, to your shame. You were too busy trying not to fixate upon the princess's bared skin to think about how best to conceal it. My dress is in the armoire, the princess says, glancing over to the aforementioned piece of furniture. I'd like to wear the red one. It's my favourite. Would you be a dear and fetch it for me? I don't want to rush you, but it's rather cold in here, especially when I'm naked. She raises a good point. You turn away from the princess and make your way to her armoire. Once there, you open its wooden doors and pursue the clothes hanging within. It is just as you expected. Inside that wardrobe lie numerous dresses, all of them finely sewn and decorated with no shortage of ribbons, lace and iridescent pearls. You find the princess's red one soon enough, then hurry to her side. With your spoils in hand, you hurry to dress her, concealing once again the princess's pale skin beneath layers upon layers of soft red velvet. She's easy to look at now, you think, with her skin concealed. That might have been the most nerve-wracking task you've ever had to accomplish, even more so than your perilous escape through the foggy forest. Hello, Emperos. Lovely to have you. We are currently streaming a visual novel called It Gets So Lonely Here. Little bit spooky for the spooky season. So, no matter how long you're here, I hope you have a lovely time. Why, it seems a small miracle you can still remember how to breathe. Ah, that's much better. Thank you, dear one, for your help. You've not been here for a full day, but I already wonder what I'd do without you. Shyly, you assure the princess that you did nothing really, nothing beyond your job. You did not do anything incredible. And in any cases, being complimented by someone so pretty is embarrassing. Ember, are you new on YouTube? I mean, like, when did you start streaming in general? Yeah, I'd say I'm relatively new. I started summertime. It's just basically, I'm not planning on trying to like be like big or massive or whatever. Just, I try to do, yeah, as Al says, every Wednesday, try to do like 2 to 3 hours, just a chance to just hang out with friends, you know, if anyone wants to come in and join, just have a good time. You know, I have like a lot of fondness to like, you know, a lot of like YouTube and like, you know, streamers and stuff like that, which have kept me entertained. So I'm like, I want to do something for my friends. So, yeah. We tend to do, like, I'm trying to do like a mix of things, some visual novels, some sort of daily website games. I know I want to do some more roguelikes. So, yeah, we're varietying up in this house. And in any case, being complimented by somebody so pretty is embarrassing. Oh, don't be like that. I want to compliment you. Why shouldn't I? When you've been so helpful, it'd be rude not to. And anyway... Oh, shut up, Al. I'm not saying... No. No, I do not want Mr. B... Oh, that would be horrifying. Nope. I just want to be a little streamer for my friends and anyone who wants to come watch. I think you're very pretty too. Oh, my. Your face flushes from this, more deeply than ever before. You ought to count yourself lucky, really, what with all of this excessive blushing, that this princess does not seem to possess any vampiristic tendencies. You're making yourself quite the easy target. Now, the princess declares, why don't we go for a walk? It's a nice enough day, and I get so very bored of being cooped up inside. You can't think of any particular objections to raise to this remark, and you think that the princess might have a point. She might have a point. The castle, though expansive, is somewhat stifling. The walls are so very thick, they put you in the mind of a crypt. Stas, oh, they could be foreshadowing. Bring up the vampirism. She could be a toxic vampire, Yuri. We could be doing that. With your acquiescence assured, the princess quits her chambers, her posture elegant and her gait unhurried. She seems not to walk as she navigates her way through the seemingly endless hallways of her home, but to float like a cloud. The hem of her dress swishes around her legs, and her hair shifts like a shroud. The castle's courtyards, meanwhile, is sadly lacking in comparison to the princess's beauty. The courtyard is fenced in by the castle's walls, which look, in the stark midday light, tall and imposing, faceless soldiers standing sentinel. Though the sun is out, it is not particularly bright, and neither is it particularly warm. The courtyard itself, meanwhile, is in a state of disarray. The flower beds are in a shambles, all overgrown with weeds. It is all rather depressing. The princess's castle might be grand in scale, but the courtyard itself is simple, hemmed in to a claustrophobic degree, like a coffin. More foreshadowing. The princess, however, seems not to share your dolorous mood. She instead looks elated by her newfound surroundings, her smile unwavering. She gambols about like a lamb, flittering hither and thither as she examines the weed-infested flower beds. Appreciate it, Ember. I've already got a bunch of like screens, banners. I do not have the money for live 2D, 3D. But I appreciate you asking. I'm currently sorted and I have stuff planned. But yeah. She gambols about like a lamb, flitting hither and thither as she examines the weed-infested flower beds. Her frolicking comes to a cease, however, by a bush. One is full of bright red roses. Oh, how very pretty. Do you not think they are gorgeous, dear one? The flowers are not too disappointing, you supposed. They make for a fine spectacle, in fact. A welcome splash of colour when contrasted with the dullness and drabness which permeates the rest of the courtyard. Though the other flowers in their beds are wilted, withered things, it is not so for the roses. Don't worry about the money today. Nah, trust me, it's chill. So I don't want anything big. To be fair, like I made this PNG tuber, and I'm really happy with it. Which is when I think about 2D, 3D, like it's one of those things where it's like I feel like I'd want streaming to be my main job if I do that, and it's not. This is just for a hobby. So I'm happy with what I've got. Thank you. They are rich, bright red. Their heads so full they seem almost to droop beneath the weight of their own engorged petals. They are pretty, in a sense, but there is something unsettling about them too. Something that is almost obscene. An obscene rose? Oh. How did those roses become so very red? What has been sustaining them? Could it be possible that the roses have been draining the life from the other flowers, which are struggling to grow within the garden? It is a fanciful thought, though. It's kind of you to offer, Ember, but I'm okay, thank you. Oh, they are simply divine. Looking at those roses always lifts my spirits. They really are one of my favourite flowers. I simply must pick some of them. Perhaps I can use them to decorate my bedchamber. It could use a bit of colour. Obscene rose. Now that could be an apple variety. Just saying. Hello, Sin. Lovely to have you. We are continuing with the visual novel from last week. All triggers still the same as last time. Also in the comments. So yeah, fun times. The princess reaches out so as to pluck one of the roses free from its resting place amongst its brethren. You watch her, your breath bated, anxious that this gesture might result in perforated flesh and bright red blood. But the princess is not as clumsy as you fear. How's it going? Oh, it's going okay. Throat's a little still pretty sore, so I'm doing lots of water sips. Probably just gonna do one route tonight. But yeah, and there's a bit of a sore arm from my blood earlier. I had to deal with the devil tape and cotton bud, which is always a pain, but we'll see. Oh my god, obscene rose apple has thorns and causes uncontrollable blushing when you eat it. Oh, my heart wants to add it, but I'm not. Everything else has been serious so far, but maybe it's my secret. It's my secret variety of apple. Like, I know there's an apple called the obscene rose apple, but no one else does. Yes, the devil tape. Yes, the devil tape. Oh, my own form of vampire. Yeah. Oh, I should have made a joke to the nurse, like, oh, you a vampire, it's Halloween. Boo. I should have, but I didn't. I'm a fool. How dare I? Of course she's not. Who did you think she was? You? Rather than worrying about other people, you would be best served if you worried more about yourself. The princess holds her newly pilfered rose to her nose and inhales, her eyelids falling shut as the flower's sweet scent washes over her. A few moments of silence pass. Then, the princess begins to toy with the petals which adorn the flower crown. Now, let me see. I wonder what fate has in store for me. She loves me. The princess plucks a petal from the flower's overburdened head. She loves me not. The princess continues with this childish incantation, all the while stripping her rose slowly and methodically of its petals. These petals flutter about the princess like bloody snow. The princess's voice, meanwhile, echoes throughout the courtyard, even more melodic than the strains of a pianola. She loves me not. She loves me not. The princess's fingers finally hover over the final petal, which crowns her nearly denuded flower. Denuded flower! Then, with a triumphant smile, she declares, She loves me! I knew it! You watch the princess, amused by her girlish good cheer. The little mantra she's been reciting is one that you are familiar with. The girls at the conservatoire also used to engage in this little game. The younger ones, at least, who believed that a fairy tale prince would whisk them away. You might have participated in this game yourself when you were a child, but you never pinned your hopes and dreams on a handsome prince. Your interest in princes has always been minimal. When it comes to fair princesses, though, well, that is a different matter altogether, isn't it? Pleasantly, you ask the princess whose love it is she wishes to court, a query which makes the princess giggle. Oh dear one, who else would I be thinking of? Naturally, I was thinking of you. Naturally? She says it so easily, as though you ought to have suspected as much. And indeed, part of you did. You wanted to believe, yet part of you was afraid to. You did not want to be arrogant enough to assume that the princess might care for your affections. You begin to blush, your cheeks almost as red as the roses, while the princess laughs. She laughs and she laughs and she laughs, her voice clear and sweet like a nightingale's song, as though you are the funniest thing she had ever seen. You never liked being laughed at when you dwelt within the walls of the conservatoire, but it's different with her. You have not known her for all that long, but you are already entranced by her, ensnared. She has you wrapped around her little finger. Oh my. The princess's laugh tapers off into a series of giggles as, smiling, she wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. That was quite the amusing diversion, but I've just had an idea. You look at the princess curiously. What idea? You can't tell. You cannot even begin to guess. I just thought that all this watching must be boring you, the princess says, tossing the rose's stripped stem carelessly to the ground. You should give it a try, please do, it'll be fun. The princess retrieves a second red rose from the bushes, deftly snapping it between her fingers and offers it to you. I want to see what fate has in store for you too. You smile at the princess, touched by enthusiasm. Indulging in childish games like this might not be the best use of your time, but the princess looks so very determined you would not wish to hurt her. What could be the harm, really, in consenting? The only real casualty of this game will be one singular rose, the rose that the princess is holding towards you. You reach out, meaning to accept the princess's offering, but... Oh no! You are clumsy, and you seize the stem of the rose with a touch too much strength. The head of the rose might be pretty, but there is more to a rose than its bright red flowers. Roses have thorns too, a fact you are now being painfully reminded of. Oh, wrapping a lesbian bottoms girl fade around your finger sounds like the easiest thing, even for an ever slightly capable woman. Yeah, I can see that. Pain flares through your fingers and you gasp. You take a step back, the hem of your skirt swishing around your ankles. Your finger is stinging, and so are your eyes. You ought to have been more careful. Why were you so stupid? You poor dear, you're bleeding, the princess exclaims, alarmed. Then she frowns. This is all my fault. If I'd not suggested the silly game, this never would have happened. Please let me take care of you. And how is she going to do that? Perhaps she means to take a handkerchief from her pocket, where she might staunch your wound. Princesses tend to carry handkerchiefs around them with them, don't they? Silken ones? How else would they give brave knights tokens of their gratitude, once those aforementioned knights have successfully slain dragons? Princesses can hardly dispense kisses as favours. It just simply is not done. Yes, Stas, I'm worried she's going to do some freaky shit. This is pure freaky shit time. That is what you've always thought, but... Please, hold still. This might sting a bit. This princess is anything but ordinary. Rather than take a handkerchief... Rather than take a handkerchief out of her pocket, she instead encloses her white slender finger around your hand. Carefully, as low as she is handling a precious object, she raises her hand. Her eyes are fixed, all the while on the beads of startling crimson blood which are oozing luridly from your wound. She licks her lower lip. Then she dips her head. Oh, they drew it. Ooh, mama. She parts her mouth, and with a soft sigh which borders on sensuous, she slips your injured digit between her teeth. So much for princesses not dispensing kisses as tokens of affection. This might not be a conventional kiss, but feels intimate regardless, almost startling so. The princess's lips, which are as red as any rose, are enclosed around your index finger. You can feel the warmth of the princess's mouth about your skin and the wetness of it. These sensations make your whole body quake. You did not expect this. Tremulously, in a voice which wavers, you ask the princess what it is she's doing. Oh? The princess glances up at you, her mouth still enclosed around your finger. Didn't I tell you? I'm trying to stop the bleeding. Yes, you gathered as much, but... Is there a problem? I'm not making you uncomfortable, am I? It is not you say that she's making you uncomfortable per se, but this is rather awkward. You did not expect it, that's all. And is she not worried that this is unhygienic? Unhygienic? The princess blinks. She's the very picture of innocence, which is funny, really, given that your finger is still nestled against her tongue. I don't know what you mean by that exactly. But I've heard this is the best way to take care of cuts. My nursemaid used to do this for me when I was a child. It's what you're supposed to do. And you ask, your voice catching in your throat, did her nursemaid keep staunching her wounds with her mouth when she grew older? Well, no. But my nursemaid was dismissed when I was 8 years old. That is the normal way of things. I had my lady's maids look after me then. How very interesting. And did they ever clean her wounds like this? No, the princess says, smiling mischievously, because I'm not clumsy enough to cut myself, silly. Now that was quite the sharp retort. You did not expect it. Your face turns even redder, if such a thing is possible, though this might perhaps be to your benefit. With some luck, all of your blood will flow to your face, rather than to your finger, and your bleeding will stop. Has it stopped? Your injury was not a deep one. There should be no need for the princess to keep on suckling, but she still is. You are not accustomed to intimacy of this nature. It is making your heart flutter. If the princess knew what her mouth was doing, you are sure she would not be so very familiar. You feel quietly, crushingly confident that she would scorn you for your feelings and deem them unnatural. It would not be the first time. At this point, you should be used to rejection. It still stings, though. It stings much, much more than any thorn on any rose ever could. Oops. My bad. Can we go back? There you go. The days pass following your misadventure in the rose garden in a relaxed, unhurried sort of manner. Your mad dash through the forest is beginning to feel like a distant memory, so much so you can scarcely recall the raw, naked fear you once felt as you fled for your life. There is no running to be had while you are working for the princess. You would have nowhere else to run, and in any event, there is no longer any reason to run. The shadows which once tormented you have at long last begun to recede. You can scarcely recall, as you lay down in your bed, the petty cruelties you were subjected to by your classmates at the conservatoire. They no longer matter. Your attention's focus is not upon yourself, but upon the princess. The more time you expend with her, the more you come to care for her. You become quite besotted with her, but you are yet to realise it. Well, I never. How very ignorant can one girl be of her own feelings? The princess is not half so ignorant as you, though, despite having spent her whole life within the palace walls. The weight of her own feelings are unknown to her, and, during one stormy night, she chooses to make them known to you. I'm going to just do a very quick break, only a couple of minutes. I will not be too long. Apologies. Back. Thank you for your patience. Let's get back to it. It is dark outside, and there is little light save the light of the moon to alleviate it, that and the fire which crackles in the grate. You have only just finished stoking that very fire, and now you rise. You look to the princess, who is laying in her bed, and you bid her a good night, as you have many nights past. With a neat curtsy, you turn to leave, but the princess's plaintive voice gives you pause. Wait, dear one, do not go just yet. Perplexed, you pause, then look at the princess. Though she is smiling, her expression is unusually wan. Is she all right? Oh, I'm sure I'll be fine. It's just nights like this, you know, which make me feel a little out of sorts. And what, you ask, does she mean by that? Only that it is very cold and very dark. And it is very windy besides. I'm afraid there'll be a storm later. It was awfully cloudy earlier when we went for our walk. The princess is not mistaken about that. The sky when the pair of you promenaded about the gardens earlier was grey and steely, the wind bitingly cold. You can hear the wind rattling mournfully against the panes in the princess's bedchamber. The princess's castle is built of stone and is well fortified, but even with the fire, it is rather cold. You do not like to think of how much chillier, by comparison, it will be in your humble bedchamber, which is not fortunate enough to have its own fireplace. It might sound childish, but I've always found it hard to sleep on stormy nights like this. They make me feel uncomfortable. You look at the princess with no small degree of sympathy. No longer clad in her bright red dress, she looks oddly, uncommonly vulnerable. Will she really be alright, all alone in her oversized bed in her high-ceilinged bedchamber? You know it is silly of you to contemplate such a query. Why would she not be alright? There's nobody in the castle to hurt her, but still, you fret for her. As her lady's maid, it is your job to fret for her. You would never want your mistress to feel unhappy. You ask the princess what it is she would have you do, and the princess perks up at this, pleased perhaps that you are taking the initiative. I wouldn't like to take up much of your time, but it's so very late. But would you mind sitting with me a little while longer and reading to me? Provided that you can, of course. Bitch thinks I can't read! I mean, thinking about the previous routes, I feel we are very dumb, so... Stas, will she be alright in her giant bed that definitely fits 2 people, or will she be alright? That is a fair enough question, but your pride bristles regardless. Hastily, you reassure the princess that yes, of course you can read. You were a poor student in many aspects. Thank you. We were a dummy at the conservatoire. But you had something of a gift when it came to the literary arts. Reading books is all you've ever been good at. Oh, I see. I suppose I should have known. You're so incredible. I sometimes wonder if there's anything you can't do, hee hee. Well, I think you'll find I can't keep a skirt in one piece. The princess's high praises make you flush. Awkwardly, you look away. Being able to read, you reassure her, is not such a great... You know what, that's a good point, Stas. Maybe I am being negged by this princess. Maybe I am being negged by her. Perhaps it isn't where you hail from, but it is here. Very few of my old servants could read, and they certainly couldn't read the books that I like. This piques your interest. Intrigued, you ask the princess what books exactly she likes. Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm fond of fairy tales, you see. Old ones from centuries past. I have a collection of them here, the princess says, indicating a book on her bedside table as thick as a mortuary slab. The book is old, though, and the bindings are weak. The page is brittle, the writing woefully old-fashioned. I didn't trust any of my past servants with that book, but I think you would do a good job breathing life into those old stories. Owl. No, the toxic princess would never adhere to that toxic Yuri. How dare she? Would you mind reading to me for just a brief while? Please, dear one, oh please. The princess's request seems a simple one, expressed sweetly, so much so you see no reason to refuse her. You take a seat beside the princess upon a luxurious bed which sinks beneath your weight. Then you retrieve the leather-bound book which is resting upon her bedside table and you spread it open. The pages of the book are very brittle, like the princess said, and the bindings of the book are loose. You can feel in the heft of the book's manifold pages the weight of the age concealed within it. How old is this book? Perhaps it is old as the castle in which it resides. It is with a quiet voice, hesitant at first, they begin to read to the princess, a tale of courtly love which culminates in a lavish wedding ceremony. All the while, as you read, the princess listens to you, enraptured, hanging, or so it seems, upon your every word. Once you reach the final phase embossed upon the pages of this aged tome, and they live happily ever after, the princess sighs as though the tale has touched her very soul. Would there be a handsome prince to marry me, she says somberly, or better yet, a beautiful princess. At this point, I think I would even settle for a lowly scullery maid. You blush at this idle remark. and mumble softly that this would not be proper. The storm outside is still squalling, and you have never been one to raise your voice. You do not expect, therefore, that the princess will overhear you, but she does. She observes you, her head resting against her pillow, and she says, "And what would be the problem with that? As my maid, shouldn't my happiness come before any silly ideas of propriety?" "Well, of course," you reply, "but for a princess to marry a scullery maid." "You're still hung up about that?" the princess titters. "Don't pay it too much heed, I'm just talking to myself." As if anything like that would ever happen, when there is no priest around who would officiate it. Yeah, that's the problem, lady. That's the problem, is there's no priest. Nah. You think there are greater issues with the princess's plan than the lack of a priest, though she does present a good point. The castle is an empty one. Even if the princess were to find someone that she loves, there would be nobody to make such a wedding official. You cannot help but feel like you've avoided a great deal of nuisance. But by the same token, do you not feel a touch disappointed? Well, never mind. "That was a nice story," the princess says, "but I'm not sleepy yet, and it's still storming outside. Won't you read me one more?" "You would not mind," you reply, "but it is getting late. You really ought to return to your chamber." "I know, but can't you find it in your heart to read one story to me? Just one. You can choose a short one. I won't complain." You have some doubts about that, but as before, you cannot resist the princess' demands. It is not, you think, because she is a princess, that there is, of course, a part of it, but because she is, well, radiant. You would not, you think, as you turn to the next story recounted in this age compendium, want to upset her. You would rather cut out your own tongue. You read another story to the princess, which is of a similar vein to the last, impossible adventures culminating at the close in a happy marriage. The tale delights the princess just as much as the tale you read prior, and she begs for another, and then another. One bedroom story soon becomes 5, and even then, when the candle which flickers on the princess's bedside are close to guttering out, the princess is not satisfied. Like a grasping, grading child, she has never heard of moderation. When she wants something, she seeks to glut herself with it, with her only request that of more. If she was less comely, perhaps her inability to adhere to the word no would be seen as a character defect. The princess is very comely, however, and so, when she makes her next request, you almost agree offhand, without considering the ramifications. "I think I could go to sleep now, but the storm is still raging. I feel lonely on my own in this big, empty bed, so..." "I know!" The princess' eyes light up like the night sky in a thunderstorm. "Why don't you sleep with me?" Oh, fuck me, she's gonna want upsies next in a bottle. You stare at the princess, your eyes wide as goose eggs. Slowly, you blink. Then just as slowly, you bid her to repeat herself. "Didn't you hear me?" The princess giggles. "Maybe you've been so busy cleaning up after me, you've neglected to clean out your own ears. I said, dear one, would you like to sleep with me?" If that is the question she truly means to ask, then it'd be easy enough to answer. Of course you would like to sleep with her. It would be an honour. But would it really be alright for you to accept such an invitation? It must be a gross breach of protocol, surely, for a lowly domestic such as yourself to share a bed with a princess. You sit upon the princess's bedside, fretting while she observes you with wide, beseeching eyes. She is waiting. "Well, what's the matter, dear one? Why do you tarry so? Could it be?" The princess' lower lip begins to tremble. "Don't you want to lie with me after all?" The sorrow presents in the princess's voice and in her face makes you feel awfully guilty. Hurriedly, you console her. You tell her in no uncertain terms that if she truly wishes to partake in your company, then you have no qualms with it. Why would you? "Well then, don't just stand there dilly-dallying, silly. Come and join me, come." And that is what you do. after returning briefly to your own chamber to change into your nightgown. Once dressed, you waste no time returning to your impetuous princess's side. She's already lying in a glorious four-poster bed, awaiting your return as though you were a knight-errant gone away to slay some wicked dragon. The princess giggles when she sees you. In your haste to change, you've made a hash of the buttons, and she bids you to come closer. Let me fix that for you, silly. Oh no, you say I couldn't possibly let you. Oh no, you say I could. Oh no, you say I couldn't possibly let you do that. I am but a servant after all. Should it not be your job to dress her? Maybe so, the princess says, but I don't mind a bit of role reversal. It makes things more fun. Hee hee. You try a few more refutations, but in vain. The princess summarily discards all of them. Quite at the princess's mercy, she might even be more stubborn than you are. You capitulate to her demands. You let the princess unbutton the front of your nightdress, then rebutton them, so the fabric of your plain gown is drawn shut. Satisfied with her handiwork, she has very elegant hands. The princess draws back and pats the mattress beside her. Now come in, it must be horribly cold out there, but these sheets are warm. Coyly, the princess smiles. And so am I. You feel warm yourself as you slide into bed beside the princess. Your face is as red as the gown the princess often wears, as red as the roses in the castle grounds. All the while, your heart is fluttering. Does the princess know what an effect she's having on you? Surely she must. How could any woman be so blind? There, the princess exclaims, once your body is lying beside hers. That is much better. Don't you feel cozy, dear one? You swallow, and with a shaky voice, you reassure her. Yes, you are cozy. You are quite cozy indeed. Very good. The storm might be raging outdoors, but it can't get us here. I know when I'm with you, I am safe. It's strange, but... The princess reaches out, then takes your hand in hers, twining your fingers together like a chain. When I'm with you, it feels so very light. It's as though nothing in the world can hurt me. You make me feel safe, so I want to make you feel safe too. I'll take very good care of you, I promise. You return her smile with one of your own, touched by her thoughtfulness, though something about her promise does make you wonder. Should it not be your job to look after her, as a domestic? In a way, the princess replies after a pause, but you've been taking good care of me already. Now I need to return the favour. As a princess, I'm supposed to look after my vassals. It's all part of the job description, hee hee. You were unaware that being a princess came with a job description. You thought the profession came with far fewer written responsibilities and far fewer forms to sign than, say, becoming a doctor or an astrophysicist or a mathematics professor. You tell the princess this sleepily, and she laughs. You do say some funny things, dear one. I think you must be tired. Rest your head. You've been working so hard. I think you deserve it. Yes, you think, only half conscious. You think you deserve it too. You've been working hard for a long time, have been running for even longer, but now, at long last, you feel like you can let your fears go. Your eyelids begin to droop, your body deluged by a sudden, all-consuming fatigue. And in a quiet, understated sort of way, your consciousness is conveyed to Morpheus's kingdom. Your sleep is a deep one, despite the storm which rages outside. The wind is howling like a couple of wild cats, both locked in a vicious and bloodthirsty bout to the death, but you do not hear it. Swaddled by the warm blankets about you and soothed by the princess's presence, you are immune from all the ills of the world. When you are with the princess, you feel safe, secure, and, yes, You even feel loved. It is a pity, then, that these feelings do not last for very long. You know that something is wrong, catastrophically so, the moment you open your eyes. Your thoughts are so hopelessly jumbled, but you are certain that when you fall asleep, it was in a bed. A nice warm bed, no less, beneath soft, comfortable sheets. You are not lying in a bed right now, though. You are not, in fact, lying at all. You are standing instead against a cold, hard wall made of stone. The curve of your back pressed against the wall so intimately you can feel its icy chill seeping through the fabric of your nightgown. Your feet, which are bare, are similarly pressed against cold, unfeeling stone. They feel so frigid you cannot help but tremble. You're trembling so much you can feel your teeth chattering together. They sound like castanets. The sound is almost jaunty as it echoes through your cell, for that is, indeed, where you are. The princess's bedchamber wherein you fell asleep is a thing, now, of the past. You are standing instead, you realise, with a sharp start, in a cell of some underground dungeon. You swallow, and when you do, you can taste something bitter on your tongue. Your stomach is beginning to churn with anxiety. You feel like you're going to be sick, a feeling which wells up inside you to a staggering degree when you catch notice of the stench. You are not, you realise, the only one in the dungeon. There are others here, others attired in the simplest black and white outfits of servants, which look much like the dress that you once wore. The others who are with you, however, in this expansive cell, manacled to the wall, are in no fit state to speak to you, nor to tell you of their plights. They are all unfeeling, unseeing, unbreathing. They are all dead. You cannot approach these servants to check their pulses, for you yourself are restrained. But even if you could, there would be no point. There is no way any human could survive the wounds which have been inflicted upon these sad, slumped bodies. Over there, you see a woman slumped, the front of her once white apron stained with blackish blood. Thank you, Al. We need to update the trigger warnings for skellies. If you've got a fear of skellies, might not want to be here. There is a gaping wound in her stomach, one through which her entrails have half escaped in some sort of burgundy goop which once might have been pale pink. There is another woman slumped beside the first of the smaller statues. She is skinnier. Maybe she is not a woman after all, but an adolescent like yourself. She might even be younger. The girl's age, or lack of, did not preclude her attacker from inflicting upon her horrors. Alas, for her body is even more mutilated than the first. Her body is peppered with even more wheals, and her face has been half smashed in. Only one eye remains, staring fixedly at the wall opposite her, in the ruined remains of what was once her skull. Hell yeah, Stas, I think we're pretty pro-Skelly here, so we've got lots of Skellies to look forward to. Over there, you see a woman who is missing both her arms and her lower jaw. Over there, you see another who is missing her entire lower half. Where have her legs gone? You have no idea. The injuries inflicted upon these bodies are ghastly, but their advanced decay is enough to turn your stomach. You know not how long these carcasses have been lying down here, but they have begun to putrefy. You fear a similar fate might befall you should you stay here. You need to escape. Fitfully, you struggle against the manacles which bind you, but alas, it is no use. You cannot free yourself from these walls. Your restraints are much too strong, and you are much too weak. Panic rises up in your throat, cold and icy, while terror seizes your heart, this too glacial. It is obvious that escape is impossible, but still, you squirm and writhe, like a rat caught in a firestorm. Excuse me. There is little point, however, to your struggles. You succeed in nothing as you attempt to free yourself, save making the steel manacles dig into your abused wrists more sharply than ever. You gasp. That hurts. Well, you ought to have known that would not work. The very definition of insanity is, performing a set action over and over again, hoping for a different response. In that sense, perhaps one could argue optimism is not so very different from insanity. Now, that is an interesting point to consider. Would you not agree? No, evidently not. You are still trying to escape, you foolish girl, as if that would do you any good. The clangorous rattling of your steely restraints is rather starting to get on my nerves. You are making enough noise to raise the dead down there, in your dark, dingy cell, and all your screaming is hardly helping matters. I wish that you would cease this infernal racket, but I know you will not. Nothing I say could ever get through to you. Not that you have ever listened to me in the first place. Perhaps you would listen to her, though. Is she not your kind, considerate mistress? Look, now, she's come all this way into the dark depths of the castle's cold and hospitable dungeon to see you. Is that not kind of her? Oh, dear one, the princess trills, entering the dungeon with a series of light, lilting steps. It would seem you have finally awoken. How are you? Based on all the infernal racket you've been making, it would seem like you have no shortage of energy. Balefully, you turn your head so as to meet the eyes of the princess. She is standing but a few paces away, beneath the roughly hewn stone arch which bids one entry, but rarely ever an exit, to the dungeons. The dungeons are dull and drab, but the princess is wearing her favourite red dress. It is so bright and brilliant that, for a few moments, it hurts to look at her. Once the red of the princess's outfit makes you think of romance. Now, it makes you think of violence. You must forgive me for leaving you down here for so long. That was unfair of me. I did think of waiting here for you, by your side until you awoke, but... Once again, the princess giggles, a light, airy giggle which does not at all suit the situation which you found yourself in. A dungeon is not a fit place, after all, for a princess. It is horribly cold in here, and so very drab, and there is nowhere nice and soft to lay my head. I could have brought my pillows down from my bed, I suppose, and my blankets, but then they would have gotten dirty, and that would have been a disaster. That's a good point, Al. You ain't gonna get good air in B&B. Hal might even get half a star. I need to be more careful. I won't have anybody left to clean up after my messes soon, not when I've dispatched of you. Once again, the princess laughs. Her laughter is light and lilting, like the chiming of a silvery bell, but it does little to alleviate your concerns. If anything, it makes you feel even more alarmed. Did she say she meant to dispatch of you? Yes, that's right. Could you not tell? I thought you might have figured that out already after waking up in a dungeon, silly. Still smiling, the princess takes another step towards you. Would that you could. You would cringe away from her, but you cannot. You are completely powerless. The princess reaches out and places a hand upon your cheek. Her skin is very white, and though her touch is cool, it is less so than the frigid air in the dungeon. Though your body is aching, the princess's touch is gentle, and you find yourself leaning into it subconsciously. You wish she would keep holding you. You wish she would keep touching you. You luxuriate in her kindness as best you can. But though the princess's caresses are tender, your circumstances rather undermine them. How can you relax in a time like this? Ah, you're such a good girl, the princess says, in a cajoling sort of voice as one might address a cat. You've been so very lovely to me while we've been together. I really couldn't ask for a better servant. I feel as though I've been spoiled. Why then, you ask her, is she doing this? Improbable though it sounds, she must be the one who chained you up. There is nobody else in the castle who could have committed such a feat. Everybody else is dead. Why yes, how very astute of you. I was the one who orchestrated all of this naturally. Naturally, she says, as though her betrayal is just a matter of course. Naturally? Why, you ask, is this so natural to her? What does she mean to do to you? Oh, only what I've done to all my other servants. I have experience with this sort of thing, so please don't worry. I'll take good care of you. And by take good care of, she means... Naturally, I'll kill you. There it is again, that word, which seems grossly inappropriate given all which has transpired. Naturally. There is nothing natural about this. Do you not think so? The princess examines you, her expression ponderous. It's natural to me, even if it's not natural to other people. That just feels right. Imprisoning her servants in the dungeon and letting them die? Yes, exactly! There is a bit more to do it than that, though. Of course there is. I like you, dear one, the princess says in a voice which sounds uncommonly serious. You have been good to me, like I said, and kind. For that I will be eternally appreciative. You have been so good to me, in fact, that simply being with you is not enough, not anymore. Your company can no longer content me. I am a greedy, selfish girl, you see. The princess's smile widens into something sinister, her eyes flashing with a fiendish fervour you have never before witnessed. And I don't want you to feel you beside me. I want to feel you inside me. Well, yeah, that is a well. That is a well to respond. That explains the blood licking. She's a little cannibal. Of all the things your charming captor could have said, you did not expect that. The princess, perhaps, noticing your confusion, begins to giggle. A giggle even lighter than Mirange. And just as... Mirange? Meringue. It's meringue. Oh my god, my brain is cooked. That's meringue. And just as airy. It's just as inoffensive. I can see that you don't understand, dear one, but you aren't the only one. My last lady maid said that too. Wanly, the princess sighs. A belagged woe is me sigh, which makes her look even younger than the scant handful of years she truly possesses. And the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. I thought that you at least might be able to appreciate my point of view. But perhaps not. I don't think it should be too complicated to grasp, really. But maybe my way of looking at the world is a little bit unique. That's what my nurse always used to say, at least. When she still had the breath to speak, of course. You look at the princess. Where else is there for you to look, really? Your eyes are fixed to her face. She's still smiling. There is something sinister about her smile. Or perhaps, in your anxious state, you are only imagining that there is something sinister about her smile. It is easy to see things which do not really exist when your surroundings are festooned in shadows. In actuality, however, the princess does not look any different to how she usually does. Neither is she acting any differently to how she usually acts. She has not changed. It is only your perspective of her that has changed. Tremulously, you ask the princess what she means, a question the princess is only too happy to answer. It's simple, really, like I said. You were wondering, weren't you, why there weren't any guards or any servants in the castle when you first arrived? The question had crossed your mind, yes. Was that a lie? I wasn't being wholly truthful, no. I thought you wouldn't be afraid. I thought you would be afraid of me if you knew what had actually happened, and I didn't want that. I wanted you to stay with me. My ministers didn't send anybody away because I don't have any ministers. I dispatched of them too. Did she now? You suppose you ought not to be surprised, but you still shudder regardless. My ministers weren't very much fun, I'm afraid. They had lots of ideas about what I should and shouldn't do after my parents died. The princess stares at you, her eyes wide like black holes, empty, yawning abysses. So I killed them. I killed my servants too, though I did a more thorough job with them than I did my ministers. I did not care for my ministers, you see. They were all fusty old men, but I did love my servants. I loved my lady maids and my undermaids and my scullery maids and my housekeepers and my cooks and my large retinue of retainers. They were like my family. They raised me in my parents' absence, and I adored them. They were so very dear that I had no real choice. I had to eat them. Does that follow? Not logically, no. Why, you asked the princess, your voice trembling, would you eat the people that you love? It seems a poor way to repay them for kindness. Well, why wouldn't you eat the people that you love? I don't think there could be any greater way of showcasing one's gratitude, unless you have any better ideas. You weren't expecting the princess to turn the tables on you quite like this, and dumbfounded, you stare at her. You know precious little about love yourself, so it's hard for you to form a convincing rebuttal, but you muster up a few token arguments. You tell the princess that eating people isn't very nice, and neither is it strictly legal. A better way to show gratitude to your servants would be increasing their wages, maybe more holidays. The princess listens to your arguments, her expressions astute like a student poised to take notes in an important lecture. Once you are finished, however, her concentration fails her. Her shoulders begin to shake, but it is not with remorse for what she has done. Instead, she is laughing. Oh dear one, that's so very funny. But why should I care about the law? I'm a princess. One day I'll be a queen. I am the law. That is a good point. But would eating people not turn her subjects against her? What subjects? I'm no fool, you know, no matter how I might act. And I know what happens beyond the castle walls. I know all about the plague. Once I might have had a populace to govern, but they are all gone now. I am a princess in nothing but name alone, a monarch without any subjects. Don't you think that's sad? I know I do. It's so woefully lonely. If she feels lonely, then why has she been systematically slaughtering all her domestics? It doesn't make a lick of sense. Perhaps not to you. Gently, the princess caresses your cheek. But I shouldn't judge you too harshly. As much as I like you, dear one, you are a commoner. Perhaps you can't understand the intricacies of my thoughts. Privately, you doubt that anybody would be able to understand the intricacies of the princess's thought process, largely because it's unreasonable. You do not say that, though. Instead, you ask her the only question you can think to ask, with your weary throat which is sore from shouting. Why? Why, you ask? The princess blinks. It's because I don't want you to leave me, of course. Everybody leaves sooner or later, whether they've pledged their allegiance to me or not. That is simply the way of the world. People are fickle and inconstant, even to me, a monarch. That is why I decided to eat my servants. I had no choice, you see. It was the only way to ensure that they would never leave me. When you think about it, they should be grateful that I would demean myself so, to consume their flesh and blood. I am a magnanimous ruler, you see, and I treat all of my subjects equally. I love every single one of you, and naturally I love you too. You have been awfully nice to me, and you are all very pretty alongside it. If you were a plain, ugly girl, perhaps I would not shower you with affection quite as intense as this. But you've captured my heart. I really do think you're lovely. So I'll bestow upon you the highest honour I can conceive of. I want your body to mix with mine. Then we can stay together, forever and ever. The princess leans in. You can feel her soft silken hair brushing against your cheeks. You can feel it too, the warmth of her breath as it ghosts against your skin. Oh, I can kind of see that. I think it can be done well. But I think because obviously like the narrator is like, I think a separate character. It's like, can get away with it like a little bit. It is cold in the dungeon, but the princess's close proximity is, perverse though you might sound, something of a comfort. Her eyes are wide, and her lips are so red. Her smile, meanwhile, is so sweet. I've been doing my best to fulfill the role that fate has dictated for me. But, really? The princess exhales. Her eyes, which are boring into yours, are like two dark tarns. Finally, you think you can see, in the alarming lack of light, the lack of anything, in the princess's gaze, some degree of humanity. It gets so lonely here. But this brief flicker of understanding which passes between the pair of you is soon cut short. The princess dips her head. She parts her lips, which are as red as the petals of the carnivorous flower. You feel the princess's breath against your neck. It is warm in the icy chill of the dungeon, and you shudder from it. For a few moments, you think that this overture of the princess could be romantic in a way, but this too comes to a swift, merciless close. The princess's mouth is on your neck. The princess's teeth, sharp as needles, are in your flesh. The princess is draining your blood. She is supping on it, great greedy goblets like a hungry animal, one who cannot truly comprehend the harm it is causing. Even as the princess sups from you, her arms twined around your waist, you find you cannot hate her. She is far too unworldly. You are sure, as your conscience begins to fade, that the princess was being sincere when she spoke of her love for her past servants. This is simply the way the princess expresses the great love of hers, a love which is so very abundant it borders upon the monstrous. It is a love you never thought that you would ever experience. This love of this princess eclipses anything you have ever known before. It eclipses sanity. It eclipses reason. It eclipses all notions you might once have had, right or wrong. The princess, as you know full well, does not care about such concepts. You have always possessed a stubborn core, nestled beneath your weak-willed exterior, but the princess is even stubborner than you are. In the face of her love, you have met your match. The princess draws back. Desperately, you gasp for air, but she does not give you any quarter. As before, she dips her head, her red lips redder still within your blood, then splits apart her jaw. Her teeth, which are impossibly inhumanly sharp, glint wickedly like knives. Then she tears out your throat. The front of your nightgown was white once. Now it is red. There is so much blood you can smell it when you inhale, sharper than metal. It is so potent you can taste it on your tongue. You try to inhale, but the task proves to be beyond you, with what the twin perforations that ruptured your skin. Sorry, quick water break. Your attempted breaths, when they escape your lips, sound like sad, sorry wheezes. Your whole body, meanwhile, feels as though it's on fire. You make for quite the sorry sight. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try to fight against it? We are going to fight against your fate. That is a good answer, I must admit. I like it. It is impressive how very defiant you can be, even in a situation as discomforting as this. Now, try not to cry. Keep your chin up. This is but a minor setback in your story. Like all fair maidens, you are deserving of your own happy ending. You need only the strength to try and seek it out. Why don't we give this another go? Try not to ensnare the hearts of any more monarchs, particularly those with unusual appetites. You are destined for far higher purpose than being an entree, and there are vastly more enjoyable ways to be eaten in this world. Your fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? I think... again, I'm going to click, because we're going to go to the village, do my save. I'm probably going to finish this off next week. I know it's no longer the spooky season. But maybe it's the spooky season forever in my heart. Maybe. That's what I'm going to tell myself. If this is the last route, I think we'll do like one more stream next week to finish it off. So let me get the save. But yeah, no, so that was our second route for It Gets So Lonely Here. That was a lot of fun. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Regardless of if you were here for most of it, little bit, if you are a VOD watcher here live, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have people come and watch. But yes, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your Wednesday. No matter how much longer you got, I hope you have a lovely week. I hope you have a fantastic Halloween. I hope you do lots of fun, spooky things, whatever your plans are. And I will hopefully see you guys next week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.